So I have an amplifier. It's a 2-channel Marshall amplifier. One channel is pretty terrible and the other channel is quite nice. Uh, this amplifier in question would be the DSL-1. It's a simple little cute 1-watt Marshall amplifier, 2 channels, one being the classic gain channel and the second being the ultra gain channel. Shared tone controls for both channels. Only an adjustable gain on the ultra gain channel. The classic gain channel is just a volume knob. I've never liked the classic gain channel. Multiple posts online would also concur that the classic gain channel is harsh or even brittle. Multiple posts and forums asking, hey, can somebody please identify where the bright cap is in this bad boy because I want to chop it out, destroy it, and throw it in the ocean. I would concur. It is pretty harsh, pretty brittle. This amplifier is built with two 12AX7s and one 12AU7. The only change I've made to this amplifier is I've changed out the 12AU7 for a 12BH7, which actually has a little slightly less gain to it, but tends to sweeten the sound of the whole amp. Never used the classic gain channel. Always kind of a pain in the ass. Only use the ultra gain channel. Really enjoy the way it sounds. But, as luck would have it, I bought a speaker. Now this speaker was a 15 ohm, 15 watt speaker, which restricted how many amplifiers I have that might be able to be played through a single speaker. In fact, I only have 2 that were anything below 20 watts. And this is where the history lesson begins. Back in the late 50s, Jennings Musical Instruments decided to put out an amplifier. That amplifier, little did they know, become an instant classic. The first amplifier they put out was called an AC-115, and the second one was an AC-230. So those 2 amplifiers became instant classics known as the AC-15 and the AC-30, Vox being the new brand of amplifier. The AC-15 was a 15 watt and the AC-30 was a 30 watt, thus the name, are usually known for Celestion speakers. However, in the late 50s, when they were building these, many times they either couldn't source Celestians for some reason or they had a stockpile of something else in the store. And that stockpile happened to be the Goodmans Audiom 60, 15 watt, 15 ohm speaker. It was marketed as super versatile to be used in stereos, PA systems, musical instrument amplifiers. Vox was not the only manufacturer that wound up using this speaker. In fact, other manufacturers would use this speaker and various amplifiers as well, including an amplifier company called Selmer, which released the Selmer True Voice amplifier, one of which was actually purchased by one Mr. George Harrison on June 14th, 1960, and used in his band, The Beatles. So how did I wind up with one of these? Okay, history lesson part 2. During this time in Chicago, Illinois, there was a company called Bell & Howell, and they are actually well known for making film projectors, including some of the first film projectors that came with sound. In these film projectors, they had valve tube amplifiers and push it out through an external speaker cabinet. How did I come across one? So I won an auction paying 82 New Zealand dollars, which at the time was around 40 to 45 US dollars, for a film sound projector that came with an external speaker cabinet. My goal was to do what many have done and convert the Filmosound amplifier, ripping out all of the extraneous parts and tossing them in the bin, and just creating a guitar amplifier out of this chassis and the parts that come with the Filmosound amplifier. Well, it turns out that that chassis is a kind of chassis that tends to stay alive when you plug it in without an isolating transformer. So rather than try and figure out a way to make this a little less deadly, I decided to put it on the shelf and maybe experiment with it later, maybe just rob parts out of it. So without actually knowing what the speaker was until after I had actually soldered on a new connector and plugged it into the amplifier and blown my own mind, this, which is the Bell & Howell enclosure that includes the Goodman Audiom 60 speaker in it. It's a little rattly. Not the best enclosure, but I thought, hey, let's see what happens. So I fired it up, plugged it in, and my mind was blown. So I'll share a little clip of me playing through the Marshall DSL-1 into the Goodman Audiom 60 speaker. I'll be playing this through the neck pickup on my LTD guitar, which is a Mr. Glenn's humbucker. So what's next for this bad boy? Well, I hope to find a partner for it someday. Put it in a 2x12 cabinet, have 30 watts of handling power, and be able to play it with a multitude of different amplifiers. So if you know of any that are out there, keep your eyes open, because it's a pretty sweet find. So don't be shy, leave a comment, let me know what you think of how it sounds. Ask me any questions you might have, happy to share. So really hope you like this video. Thanks for stopping by Everyday Learning Every Day. If you enjoyed this, please hit like and subscribe and ring the bell, and I'll let you know when my next video comes up.